well known that you're like a massive horror nut. Like
Yeah.
you love it. What inspired you when you were younger? What really got you into the horror genre? What was your
It was my earliest my earliest memories are of like staying up late at night and watching the Universal horror movies with my mom. Just Saturday night 11:30 watching the Universal classics on then in Boston it was called Classic Horror, and then that became Creature Feature and then Creature Double Feature. But I have four older brothers, and everybody in my family is very athletic, and they hunt and they fish, and I was never that guy. And I was like, this Star Trek, Dark Shadows, The Night Stalker. I'm wearing a Night Stalker jacket.
That is awesome.
They were the whole Kolchak shout out. Those were all my football. Like that was the stuff that I was into, and then I just the show itself. The show's not, Stranger Things is set in the mid-'80s. Our show isn't set anywhere specifically, but there's a very 70s feel, a very 70s vibe to it. I likened it to like a really funny episode of The Night Gallery. Like I wanted it to feel like a show that I would have watched as a kid. And so there's a very sort of Dark Shadows Night Gallery feel to it. There's a lot of Twin Peaks in the show, to me. And yeah, it's informed by those things that you like.
So it's kind of like you bring up Kolchak. It seems like there's this return to kind of the middle-aged anti-hero type like he represented these days.
Yes.
In a lot of, especially in this show.
I think so. That was sort of what we call an accidental discovery. The main premise for this show was I was going to do something for fun, just to do. And I thought, well, what if I took a horror movie and just put my dad in the middle of it? And he would be my dad, which means that he wouldn't care about anything in the movie, but people would have to deal with him, and that became the premise. And then the premise became, what if my dad was Buffy the Vampire Slayer? And then and then I said, well, for it to be a show, there would have to be somebody that really, in this show, there should be the person that should be the lead, and Evie is the person that should be the lead of the show, but she has to deal with this guy that doesn't belong there, and that became the sort of the conflict of the show, and it sort of invented itself, it sort of fell into itself accidentally.
So part of the thing in this is the pathos of your character and his tragedy. Can you talk a little about bringing that to it? Because that's one of the things that always gets me with these characters is you love them because of their broken heart.
It's a great question. And as a producer, the number one thing I wanted to protect, you have to hang on to a couple things in post-production, because once you get to post, everybody is Orson Welles, and nobody's Orson Welles is Orson Welles. And so one of the things I wanted to hang on to last year, and it's just a tiny, it's 20 frames, is Stan touching that keychain, her missing key when he comes into the house. And I think it was important because Stan is, as you were suggesting, he's wounded. He's an injured guy. His wife of 27 years is dead, and he's got fired from his job. So the two things that anchor this guy are gone. And so now what's he supposed to do? And so that's what I locked into, this wounded guy. And the fact that he now has to, even wounded, he has to somehow make his way through this landscape of fucking witches. Call action and get out of my goddamn eye line. I want to play that guy. Let's excavate. Let's see who that guy is. Let's dust off his shit. Let's see what that guy's going to do when a witch comes up to him. He takes a pipe and bashes it over the fucking head. What else is he going to do?
Right. And
he
he
lost
kind of
his
doesn't
wife.
have anything to lose.
Correct. So it's great. And so the overriding arc last year was for Stan at all times to be back in his chair watching the History Channel, drinking 6 beers. And whenever he wasn't in his chair doing that, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. This year, for me, the arc was to get whole again. And the only way he could get whole, and this goes back to your original question, is to get his wife back. But she's been dead for a year. So how are we going to do that? Season 2.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. Thank you.